Well, I think we do expect for the administration to continue to support the Pepfar program. And it's an extraordinary success story and has enjoyed bipartisan support since its inception back in 2003. So I think the thing that's so impressive about Pepfar and the reason people use it as an exemplar of how we ought to run our programming in foreign aid is because it's a data-driven program and filled with incredible efficiencies and monitoring and evaluation to make sure that the investments are sound and that we have the impact that we want to have on the epidemic globally. So I think our success is a great sales point to our colleagues in the administration to continue to support the program. You know, frustrating working with governments. There are lots of bureaucracies. That's always a bit of frustration. We continue to wish that our prevention programs were having a bigger impact than they do. We continue to be sort of hamstrung by stigma and discrimination around HIV and AIDS all over the world. That is a barrier to our, really being able to prevent new infections and get care to those who need it most. So that's always a challenge and discouraging. Our fastest growing group of people infected in Africa are young women. And that's a huge challenge because, young women have such barriers and challenges anyway in the developing world around access to education, access to economic opportunity, human rights in general. So seeing this epidemic now have such an impact on young women is incredibly frustrating and discouraging. And being able to, to create the interventions, structural interventions that can stop them from becoming HIV infected is a very heavy lift and requires a real interdisciplinary approach. So it's one that's never been an entitlement program. It's certainly been a humanitarian program to people most in need. But the thing about infectious diseases, and if we haven't learned anything about Zika and about Ebola and Zika in the last couple of years, is that infectious diseases that are occurring in other parts of the world do impact us here. And there aren't those borders and barriers that we thought we had in days past are no longer, are no longer true. So what affects people in one part of the world really does threaten folks in another part of the world. So our ability not only to contain HIV, but to contain other infectious diseases is more important today than it has ever been.